Hey guys, today I'm going to be sharing with you the reason why my page on Instagram will no longer be dedicated to sharing news about Palestine. Now, it's been a long road, and ever since the G-side started, my page is dedicated to sharing and spreading the news to build awareness all over the world, specifically to start engaging the people of our ummah so we can start doing things to help the oppressed and take affirmative action to stop these things from happening. And I've come to realize over this last year and a half that we as a Muslim ummah, no matter how much we try to shout and scream how united we are not active. We are not active participants in stopping oppression in this world. We're focused on boycotting and protesting, both of which have not really served the Palestinians well at all whatsoever. At this moment in time, since they announced the ceasefire till now, they have now restricted aid going into Palestine during Ramadan. There's videos of them sitting amongst rubble trying to make the most of it. And we are shouting and screaming from the rooftops about how much we should be boycotting. But you know, the truth of the matter is, we're focusing on boycotting and protesting because we have no political acumen. People like Mehdi Hassan is out there on his own. And now he's had to go down another route and start a podcast and stuff because he's like, well, I'm alone here. We do not have enough people of our ummah in those political spaces for there to be enough trajectory for us to make a difference within foreign policy. That state of affairs is extremely disheartening to me. It's made me realize how our previous generations have actually let us down by telling us, oh, just be happy. Be a doctor, be an engineer. As long as you're earning money, like, that's all I want. When actually, when you look at the Zionists and the Jews, they are training their children from a young age to be a part of their community. Those children know. They grow up in an environment where the whole community is centered around how to prosper that particular community. They're politically active, socially active. And here is the Muslims. 2 billion of us all around the world. And we have not been able to stop this G-side. We have Uyghur Muslims that have disappeared off the face of the earth on the news. They're still suffering. The Sudanese, the people in Yemen. And that's only just touching the tip of the iceberg of people who are oppressed. And as Muslims, it's our job to stop oppression in the world, not just amongst the Muslims, but everywhere. And the more and more research I'm doing, especially when it comes to the historical elements of like Muslim empires, the Ottoman Empire in the last phase of its life lost its way. And when that downfall began, the rest of the Muslims in the world, for some reason, were just promoted with doing inner work. Taskiya nafs. Let's just think about us, how we can improve. And then we hyper-focused on the 5 pillars. And we truly believe as Muslims that those 5 pillars mean that, done, dusted, let me wash my hands of this. I'm the best Muslim in the world. Whereas the more I've done research, I've realized, hold on a minute. In the seerah of our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we are supposed to follow that example. And the examples given in the seerah is people who are active socially, politically, financially. We are not even in a position where we can pull a lobby together, for example. We just can't do it. And I've really come to realize, especially being part of Islamic messaging system here in the UK, that it is our responsibility now to ensure that we are driving the next generation in a direction of action, not just passive resistance. Like, what are we doing, guys? Like, the amount of people that jump on everyone about boycotting. Excuse me, this has been a 100-year plan. They've been collecting the profits for that for almost, I think, touching 100 years to fund this G-side. Just because a couple of branches of Starbucks were closed, we think we conquered the world? No, we did nothing. I'm sorry, newsflash, we did nothing. Millions of people across the world got together and went out on the streets on the weekends and protested. What has that done? Nothing. We need to start changing the course of action. We need to start realizing that as Muslims, we're supposed to be active participants in this world. We were too busy focusing on chasing wealth and status, just so other people can say, oh, look at him, look at his car, look what he's got, look what she's got. And I was a victim of that myself. I chased money for security. And then I came to realize that actually my privilege of being born in a first world country from an immigrant family. My grandfather was an orphan. He was a street kid. And he brought us here for what? So we can earn money and take all of our belongings with us to our grave? Like, what does that do? So I urge us as a Muslim ummah to find a way within whatever sphere that you belong in to become more politically active. It is essential that there is more of us striving towards this direction, so people like Mehdi Hassan, for example, are not swinging in the wind on his own. We've left him on his own. Now he's resorted to starting a podcast, so then, whatever he has to say is not restricted. But the political power we would have if we were all engaged in the way that Muslims were intended to engage in political and world affairs, we will change this world for the better. So, yes, boycott, do what you like. But the fact of the matter is, it hasn't really made much of a difference at all. And at the moment, they are flattening Palestine. And if our next generation doesn't do the maximum to get into those political spaces where they can hold a respectable vote, because there's 20, 30 of us rather than just one who can easily just get cast aside. When they're making these decisions about what happens in these third world countries, that's happening in the UK and America. That's how much power is here. And there's 4 million Muslims in the UK. How many of us are politically active? And I first and foremost say that to myself. I wasted my education by not being told and then not understanding soon enough what my job was as a Muslimah. And if we're really starting to understand that, hold on a minute, all we're doing is shouting and screaming and waving our hands about, but having absolutely zero effect, zero, on what's happening to our fellow Muslims all across the world. We're just sitting here talking about it. So from now on, I won't be posting and spreading the news because it's done absolutely nothing. From now on, I'm going to be focusing on building my community so we can ensure that the next generation of children that come are politically and socially active, and they're not just focusing on, make sure I've said my shahada, given my zakat, prayed my salah. Really? Gone to Hajj. Alhamdulillah for all these things. They're beautiful, but they are entry-level Islam. And I came to realize that very late in my life. You have not conquered the world by doing the 5 pillars. You have only just entered the deen. The rest of it involves us ensuring that we're using our lives and our life force energy in the way of this ummah. May that be being financially secure, politically attuned, whatever your skills are. Guys, utilize them in the way of this ummah. I myself am scraping myself away from the corporate world and using every bit of spare time that I have to push this. And nobody can do this on their own. There is 2 billion of us all around the world. Let's get together. Let's use the faculties that we have to be active Muslims and not passive bystanders.